is Kobe and Frank. So I've got Kobe on a school day today. Kobe, started working with him end of last year, and it's just full on, you know. He'd got loads of energy, very strong on the lead. His socialization, he was sort of over the top with it all. He just needed to know what the boundaries were, but he needed to know that obviously safely. So I did that work with my Roscoe, and we're doing really well. And then we got to the testosterone stage, and then it kind of all changed. And Kobe was one of those that did get quite stressed with the whole testosterone. His behavior just got really anxious, stressed, intense. There was no communication with him at all, and what we had learned kind of went out the window for just that short period of time. So he was castrated, and yeah, I can see a massive difference. I gave it a month before I had him again, and there is a huge, definitely a big marked difference with him, and it's really good. So this is, I think, it's the second or third time now since his castration that he's with me, and I've just got in with Frank this morning. I just need to get a sort of the first wave of energy out the way, really, with these two. Now this way, guys, this way, Frank, if you go down there you won't get back through. Frank, this way, come on, this way. Okay, good. Notice when I say this way, if I want him to come to me, I don't go to him, I walk away. So it's the best way to get the dogs to come to you. Okay, so I just brought Frank this morning because Frank is the speed freak. So fast movement will create a response from a dog. Okay, I'm just going to take this off now. Come here, darling. There you go. All right. So that's why I brought Frank, because if anything's going to trigger Kobe, it will be Frank's speed and the way that Frank plays. Frank's quite rough, he's quite mouthy. He's not biting, but he's mouthy. He mouths our hands, and he holds. He doesn't bite, he holds. Some dogs do that. It could be that they were weaned too soon. It could be that they didn't necessarily get the right start with mum and litter. And they hold with their mouths. They hold and they pick up the energy by holding. And Frank is one of those. I mean, Frank's background's a bit hazy, and clearly at some point he's been severely thrashed because he was very hand shy. We've kind of got past all that now, but little things do every now and then still sort of create a bit of a trigger response with him. So he's the one I brought because his balance isn't all his energy isn't perfectly balanced, not like Roscoe, and we need to introduce such as Kobe with unbalanced dogs. That's how we test them. Start off with balance, which is Roscoe, get them to where I want to be, condition that behaviour, we've got it all going in the right direction, then we introduce something else to the mix, and that something else is Frank. And like I say, if anything's gonna, that's the wife there, my darling. If anything's going to create a trigger response, it will be a slightly unbalanced dog, a mouthy dog. Like I say, it's not biting, but it's mouthy, which isn't normally acceptable with dogs. So dogs will react to that and say, stop it. And the speed and just basically a little bit unbalanced, that will create that response. So that's why I'm using Frank today with Kobe. But as you can see, after all that waffle, Kobe's unfazed. The change in this dog is just, it gives me goosebumps to see it, because he's beautiful. His soul is beautiful, his energy is beautiful, but he did go through that phase where it was like, oh my God, you know, someone's stolen his character and replaced it with a psycho. And it was just so sad because he was doing so well, but it is just a moment in time. And always remember that when you get to the 10, 11, 12, 13-month mark, it's a moment in time. Mental maturity, hormones, is all going on, and you have to bear that in mind, and you have to give the dog time to work through that, to grow up. You know, we can't, the behaviour that I do is from the psychology of the dog. It's not tricks. I always say this, it's not tricks. I'm not teaching sit, stay and stop. When they're playing and they're getting a little bit rough, I'll give them a ch sound just to get their attention. I'm not stopping them, okay? It's not that I want them to suddenly lie down and stop. I want them to just bring their mind back that little bit. If they're going just that little bit too far, just that sound just triggers their mind and just stops them from going into overdrive with it all. That's all I'm doing. So you're still keeping the boundaries even though you're not physically restraining. If you physically restrain, the dog doesn't learn. You've got to give them that space to figure it out themselves and to work with you as the pack would do. And if you physically restrain all the time, the dog has no room to understand and to learn. So this is what we do. I'm just going to throw a change of direction this way. So to start off with, I did have the muzzle on Frank. Like I say, he mouths, you see, and some dogs obviously won't like that because it's not the norm, but it is just play. And once they understand that it is just play, then we can relax a little bit more. Obviously Kobe knows Frank now, but steady. Shh. He's so fast, he worries me. He's flying past all these branches and things. He's already had stitches in his side, but that wasn't here. That was in a more dense place, which I'm careful about going to now. Certainly not first thing in the morning. I don't go there first thing in the morning because I know Frank just wants to run. So this is really good. Kobe's handling Frank. He's not reacting to Frank's over boisterousness, to the speed, to the mouthing. He's just playing. There's no trigger there. It's good. I'm so confident with this guy now. So this is the first morning's walk. This is this part of it. Later on, see how hot it gets. I probably won't do pavement work because remember guys, the pavements get really hot with this sun. It burns their feet. Do bear that in mind. And also when it's hot, halve your walks, because if you do the normal full distance, the dog's going to overheat. So you've got to limit it. What I'll do this afternoon is head again towards a wooded area, probably something like Grangewood, maybe Foremark, where we can head amongst the trees and we get that shelter on the ground. It's just that little bit cooler. So that's where I'll go this afternoon with him. But he will be on a lead because that's what I want to do is work on the lead work, because he does get strong still. So I really want to work on that. Just run into that wire fence. And do that lead work with him. As you can, I'm just watching him. I keep switching off a little bit from the talking because I'm just watching Kobe, and yeah, he does a little bit of the paw on the back and whatever, but he's not got the stance, the dominant stance to go with it. It is just play, whereas before he was, as I say, standing very proud with it. You know, there was intent behind it. There's no intent here. The guy's just playing, and like I say, if anyone's going to trigger him, it's going to be old Speed Freak here. So brilliant, Kobe. I think I'm going to have a good day. Hope you do too. See you later.